30. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shout time.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Irish Footy Blogs. This week I'm joined by Keno and JP, and we're going to look ahead to this week's fixtures. Colin Whelan, serious injury, could be out for 9 months. We wish him all the best. Very nasty injury for any player to sustain. Not nice to see such a special player like him and his ability. Wish him all the best. Hopefully he'll be back soon and better than ever. Look, I suppose, Keno, we'll go to you first. UCD at home, Shamrock Rovers. Really, there is only one winner here.
It's hard to look past them, isn't it? But a trip to UCD is never straightforward. So I think we've all experienced a result in UCD at some stage that hasn't gone all right the way we'd supposed to. So,
Bohs have anyway.
yeah. No, fairness, it's a tough one. It's tough to go in there. Rovers, 9 times out of 10 this league, they play under the pressure and they are the team to beat, so they have to deal with that. So it's nothing that they're not used to. But it's not going to be straightforward, I don't think. I do think Rovers will win it, but I don't think it'll be as comfortable. Obviously, look, UCD are obviously missing Colin Whelan now, which is a massive blow for them. But, he's like, it's awful for the young lad. There's no doubt about it. But they have a conveyor belt of players there as well. And, the likes of Tommy Lonergan and stuff like that to step up now and that's his chance. But it's awful now. Look, I hate to see it, especially in the League of Ireland, especially with his bright future, and there's talk about moving as well and stuff like that. So, it is a sad thing for him. And look, 9 months, we do wish him well, and it is going to drag through for him. But I'm sure UCD has the supports in place. They'll keep him involved and they'll keep him in and around the squad. So, only one winner for me the weekend. It's obviously Rovers, but I think it'll be a lot closer. I think.
Yeah, absolutely, Keno. JP, look, terrible injury for Whelan, but look, it gives another 1 or 2 players an opportunity to fill his place. Obviously, he was probably the first name on the sheet every week for UCD, a nailed-on player, no matter how he plays every week. And that strike position has to be filled for UCD now. It's gonna, other players are gonna get an opportunity to step up.
Yeah, well, he was definitely one that he was always got a mention on the show. He did start the season pretty slowly, but we did put that down to the lack of chances. But in recent weeks, he'd started to score a few goals, and UCD were starting to cause teams a lot of trouble. And it's come on the back of getting their first win of the season, and it's a cruel blow for him. He's only 21, which could be a positive in the long term. If he was maybe in his late 20s, early 30s, it could have been a career ender. You know what I mean? So he's got, and I'm sure he'll get a lot of help over the course of the injury, and we obviously wish him the best. Ideally, not the best game to be starting. For a UCD point of view, to be starting without him. Like Shamrock Rovers at home. Rovers are a hard team to get points off the best of times, even get goal chances off and goals. And you need your best players on the pitch whenever you're playing them. And unfortunately for UCD, they're going to be without him for the rest of the campaign and not just this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's going to be an easy Shamrock Rovers win. No disrespect to UCD at all, because I do like them in the league. Obviously, I've mentioned numerous times why I do, why I don't. But look, I think it's going to be a straightforward, easy enough win for Shamrock Rovers. I think it's going to be 3-0 to Shamrock Rovers. I think they're going to rack up goal difference against these. And look, UCD missing their main man. It's going to be hard for them the rest of the season. Hopefully, Whelan comes back strong next season. And look, probably prevented a move this season for him. Wherever he was going to go, he might have been going, But yeah, Shamrock Rovers win for me. I suppose next one we'll go on to them, boys. Bohs against Sligo. I'm hoping to get this one on Friday. Obviously, Bohs, we've been playing quite poor this season. We've been obviously saying the keynote for the show about a lot of things I probably wouldn't say to anybody else about Bohs this season, but how we're doing is quite frustration. Like I've went through the last few weeks in the show. But I suppose, Keno, I'll go to you. Bohs against Sligo. It's going to be very difficult for Bohs again. As I keep saying every week.
Oh, Daz, I'll tell you. No, honestly, look, it's not been the start that Bohs would want. Let's be honest, and it's not the start that they. The way I look at it is, someone's gonna finish third, and someone's going to finish, a lot lower than they're expecting, and there will be two teams at least missing out, and it's not going to be pretty for them two teams. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way the league is. At this minute in time, Bohs are probably fighting it out with Sligo for fourth spot, and that's being coined. I think, for fifth spot. Sorry, for fifth spot, because you'd be looking at, oh, JP is having a bit of a background change there.
What the hell?
No, honestly, look, Bohs obviously will be fighting out for fifth, if I'm being honest. I think Dundalk and Pats would probably be battling for third, and whoever doesn't get third will get fourth, in my opinion. Look, that can all change in 2 or 3 weeks, but at this minute in time, that's the way it looks. It's a game that both sides won't want to lose. I think it'd be a cage. You won't don't drop points against them, because you're going to be fighting for them at the end of the season. I think a draw would be a good result for both teams here, and I think both teams would be. If you were to take a draw now, I think both teams would be happy.
Yeah, I think so too. I like you said, not dropping points against a Sligo team is going to be in and around us. It's definitely key if we want to really try and push for that 4th or 5th spot, because I don't think top 3 is going to be an option for Bohs this season now, and get a few points on the board and get the ball going again. And that's what Bohs need to do. We need to pick ourselves up and keep going the rest of the season now. JP, myself and Keane both think a draw will be an excellent result, but maybe Sligo will come here and be looking at this, maybe thinking, maybe we could try and get all 3 points against this Bohs team this season.
Aye, well, they got a good result at the weekend against some Pats. I know they took the lead in that game, and probably disappointed that they didn't win it, but the main thing for Sligo was that they didn't lose that, and they kept on the coattails. St. Pat's and Dundalk, and they'll see this as an opportunity now. They close the gap on them, or keep on within the that sort of point range. Bohs, as we know, haven't been up to the standards that they've set over the last few years, but it's obviously been down to the recruitment and the team players that have gone. So I'm not saying it's been bad recruitment, but it's just taking the time for the players that come in to gel. And we've seen over the last few weeks that they've become a harder team to beat. They're not great. They're not conceding the chance that they were at the start of the season. And mentality-wise, towards the end of the game, they're seeing games out and getting the results that their performances probably deserve. I know they probably yourself guys probably want a few more wins on, but at 1 point's better than none at the end of the day. And Sligo will see this as an opportunity to get back to winning ways, but Bohs will also see it as an opportunity for a win as well. So they will make no bones about that.
Yeah, definitely. But after watching how Bohs played against Dundalk there previously, it doesn't fill me with quite a lot of confidence, let me tell you. Especially that corner that we've done about 1 million times. We finally got a goal out of it. But however, I think a draw would be a great result for both teams. I can see a very boring 0-0 draw coming up, or hopefully a 1-1 draw with a few goals.
There's got to be goals for this one, I've no doubt.
I don't think so, Keno. I think it's going to be very tight. I think both teams might be too afraid to really attack. I can see Sligo keeping the ball on the ground and both going a bit more direct. I think that's the way we're going to go with it. But hopefully we see a few goals in this. Hopefully Bohs will get a few points on the board, or even just 1 point I'd be happy with now. Friday night, just give me something, Bohs. Give me something to go on tonight. I want to see defending. I want to see marking.
It's a big week, I think, for the league. Big 3 games coming up. Like, obviously, especially for Bohs, and even we'll get on to Pats in a while. But it's a big 3 games where Pats are playing Shells, Bohs on Monday, which is a massive game, I think, for Bohs more than Pats. So that's going to be a big one. And then as well, Pats and Dundalk on Friday. So in the next week, we're going to get a good benchmark of where teams are at, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think so, especially that being quite the midway point then. We can really see what the way the table is looking at, and I think there probably won't be too much fluctuations from here on in, really, when we get to that far. Yeah, so hopefully Bohs, maybe they'll jump up to third position by then. Who knows? Greatest league in the world. Anything can happen. Next, we're going to go to County Louth. Going to go to Drogheda against Harps. Obviously, Drogheda have been in quite poor form recently. They're down to 8th now. Probably not going to be happy to be down around there. And this Harps team, they've also not been in good form. They've been dropping points to the likes of UCD very recently. And I think this one is going to be both again another game where both teams are not going to want to lose. They're both going to want to get points, and they're both playing each other who's in around that zone and want to be, trying to get points off each other to try and cement a position next season. Because this is the type of games now that keeps teams up, it brings them back down and drags them to that dogfight.
Yeah, definitely. Tough one to call. You don't know. You look in Harps getting beaten last week and opening it up a little bit again. It's going to be again. You don't know. Would both teams settle for a point again? You know what I mean? I think Drogheda want to go and win the game. They're under a little bit of pressure, but I still think they've enough to, let's say, by the end of the season, not be in a fight, or that much of a fight. I think it'll always be in their own hands. They'll have to win. They'll have to try and go and win this. In my opinion, they need to be picking up points against your Finn Harps, against your UCDs. They're not going to pick up points every week, so I think this is a good opportunity for them to get it and just get a win on the board after a couple of poor results. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I suppose JP, Drogs Harps on paper, if you're looking at Drogs as a better team, player for player. Out of the pair, they're the best off in the league. They've got the most points. They've probably scored more goals. I believe they've conceded less anyway. For me, it's going to be a very hard game for each team. But like Keno said, these are the teams now that need to be beating Harps, getting 3 points. They need to be beating the UCDs, getting the 3 points to stay just above them. And look, I think it's going to be very hard for Harps. I think a draw in this game for the two teams. I think they both still be happy, but Harps will probably be happy with the draw. I think Drogheda are going to try and want to win this one. They're at home as well. It's obviously hard always playing Harps, but how do you see this one playing
out? Obviously, Finn Harps coming off the back of a disappointing result last week against UCD. They would have saw that as an opportunity to open up a gap between themselves and UCD, and in the end, it was the total opposite. So Drogheda will be in a similar position this week as to what Harps were in last week. I think Drogheda are a wee bit more equipped. They capitalise on that. Finn Harps probably will look at the Colin Whelan injury and see that maybe as a boost for them, but at the same time they have to look after themselves and their own results, because and what they will want to do is they want to keep Drogheda in this fight for as long as they possibly can, because they won't want to go down to a 2-horse race to see who's going to finish in ninth. They won't want that. They'll want as many teams in it as possible, and the only way to do that is to beat Drogheda on Friday night. It will be difficult. It's away. Drogheda at home's always a difficult game, difficult venue. As Cian touched on, Drogheda probably do have the better squad. I totally agree with him. It'll always be in Drogheda's hands, I feel. As of course the season goes on, and one way to do that is one step towards that actually is to pick up 3 points in this game. And I think with Finn Harps, with the injuries that they have, the key injury they got was David Webster at the back, who's out for the season. Another cruciate, I think, for him.
Yeah, long-term injury. Yeah, he would be, he would have been the heart of their defence too. He would have been one of the experienced heads back there.
Exactly, and that's a big loss for them, as much as what Colin Whelan is for UCD. So I can only see one winner in this game, and unfortunately for Finn Harps, I can see Drogheda winning this one quite comfortably.
Full house, so I think the three of us are going to go with Drogs to win this one. Drogs. I think it's going to be a tight game myself, but I think Drogheda have enough to see it out. I think they've just got the better players. I think they're at home too. Harps won't be confident, won't have been in good form. Neither team have been, but for me, I just think it's going to be a Drogheda win. It'll be 1-0 Drogheda for me. Yeah, looks like Harps are going to be in another dogfight this season again, lads. Traveling up north now, hit a lovely Derry against Dundalk. Obviously, two teams that's in great form. Keno this season have scored a lot of goals, played some really good football. We've seen Dundalk last week come back from 1-0 down against Bohs. Not that would be hard to do, but in the fashion that they did it, they scored 3 very good goals. Substitutes came on combined. Everything seems to be going good for Dundalk, pushing for Europe. And obviously, Derry in the top position in the league. Everything's rosy for them too.
Yeah, it's a really good game. It's one I don't think it's on telly, but it's one that probably should be. To be honest,
Yeah,
I think it's a decent game. It's probably the game that I'll be looking out for. You will hear the score at the Pats game, so unfortunately, I won't be able to avoid that. But this is a game that I'll be looking out for, and it's one that I'm actually looking forward to watching. It's going to be a good game. Both teams like to attack. We've seen Dundalk kind of shutting up a little bit defensively, and they're a little bit more solid defensively. Going forward, they seem to be clicking a little bit, and they're scoring at the right moments in games. And I really do. We believe that this is going to be a tight one. Derry, look, they haven't won up in the Brandywell now in a couple of games as well, so they'd be. And obviously, the loss to Rovers was bitterly disappointing considering how well they played. They'd be wanting to get 3 points tomorrow and putting it right again because, a couple of weeks ago, everything was rosy, and then like this, how quickly it changes. I'm not saying everything is bad. I'm not saying the weights that fall off or anything like it. But to draw back to back with Bohs, Pats, and then obviously the results with Rovers, it's a little bit disappointing. I think they they got 2 points. I'd say they probably would have at least 5 or at least 4 out of the game, out of the thing. So they'd be a little bit disappointed with that, but they're still there. They're still gonna be there. The results are gonna come. It's just a matter of when. But I think they'll want to go back to the Brandywell now, and they want to put a performance on. And I think they can hold Dundalk. They definitely have the firepower. If they play anyway like they have played against Shamrock Rovers and even Pats to a degree where they were really good for most parts of the game, I think they'll have enough to beat Dundalk. But yeah, then again, Dundalk can come and they can score, especially like I said, at the right moments and the right times in games. They seem to be hitting the back of the net. So it's going to be a fascinating game. I'm going to go for a dirty win. I think to get back on track with 3 points in the Brandywell. Well, to be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping to get back on track. But and it's not because of what people think with Stevie. So I just think Dundalk are their nearest challengers if we want to be going for third. And and I think Derry now hopefully can go and do the business because it's going to be a good game though. I'm disappointed. It's the worst part about it. Like you always see the Premier League and you always see teams. You can watch all the matches and you can see them. They're all at different times and all. And like these are games that I want to watch, but you're at the Pats game. You can't watch them. Do you know what I'm saying? You can watch them back, but it's not the same. So I think this is probably the game of the week for me.
Yeah, JB, a few very interesting comments there from Keno. Game of the week. It's going to be a very hard game for both teams. But obviously, Keno thinks that Derry are going to see this one through, get the 3 points, get back on winning ways, get the train back in the tracks, shall we say? And Derry are having an absolute excellent season, and
yeah,
they're going.
Where are you coming up with this stuff?
There you go, just in the mood for it. What can I say? Look, JP, I think it's going to be a very difficult game. I think it's Dundalk. They're going to be coming out with confidence. Knowing that we've went down a few times this season, they came back very strong. Especially against Bohs last week. I was very impressed with how Dundalk played. Like they were just another team when they came out. Bohs just crumbled, but Dundalk really soaked them up and really, just one or two, a really really good team performance. And they can hurt you. They've got a lot of players in that team now that can hurt you. They're defensively good as well, stronger this season. They're going to want to go there, and they're going to really give you a game, I think.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's always a good game in the Brandywell between Derry and Dundalk. Apart from a few years back when every time we played them, they hammer us. But I think the tide has turned over the last few years. We finally got the first win against them at the Brandywell last year, and I think it was about 10 years since we'd beaten them here. When we beat them 1-0 in the McGonigal penalty, I think it was. And we went to Oriel the following game after that. We beat them for the first time in 9 years at Oriel. So we had beat them in McGinn Park in between that. So it's been a difficult fixture for the last decade or so for Derry City. But there's going to be a lot of space behind this because of the close season and stuff like that. And it's something similar to there was with Pats and Dundalk, and you take in the Stevie O'Donnell stuff, but he seems to be getting his own stamp on this Dundalk team. They're starting to click now going forward. They've tightened up at the back, as Cian said. Derry, unfortunately, after picking up them 6 straight wins, they've only had 2 wins in their last 7, so they'll be looking to get back to winning ways, and there'll be no better game, no better way to do it than beating Dundalk in the Brandywell, which it will be difficult, make no bones about it, but it's probably going to be 2 teams that are going to look to play attacking football. Will not have teams coming and sitting behind the ball and looking for Derry to break them down. Dundalk will give as much as the Derry as what Derry will try to give the Dundalk. And look, there's an incentive for Dundalk to come and win this game because they're only 7 points behind Derry, and a win will close that to 4. So there's very much an incentive for Dundalk because a lot of people had written them off before the ball was even kicked, that they'd be nowhere near the top 2. The people are giving them a chance of sneaking into the top 4. If they can come to Brandywell and win, they'll lay down a marker, but I don't think they will. I think Derry will beat them.
No surprise there. Not that you be biased now, I think, JP. No surprise.
JP, I have to say, I like the way you painted the picture of a Dundalk coming to win, and then you just like, nah.
Derry will win. Derry will win. I think
Derry will. They had a really good performance against St. Pat's. They dominated most of the game. They played well against Shamrock Rovers. They took a game to Rovers. They were burned out after 70 minutes, but it was probably the bench, the quality on the bench, the Rovers compared to Derry was what won the game. And we now have a 7-day break coming into the Dundalk game, and hopefully we have one or two back from injury as well. So it's going. If it comes to an open game, I can see Derry winning it. If Dundalk come to sit in and try and maybe soak up pressure, possibly they'll win it by hitting Derry on the counter. I think Derry will win it. I really, if I think Derry won't get a result, I would say so. It wouldn't surprise me, whatever result this is, but I think Derry will win it.
I wonder, is that a record or someone who says, I think Derry will win it on the show? I think it is. But I think Derry will win it as well. I think it'll be a hard game for both teams, but I think Derry just have enough firepower. They have enough player for player. They're very good, very well matched teams. It will be an attacking game, and like Keena said, it's just pity that it's not going to be on TV for the wider public to see. It's a game I would have liked to have watched back myself, but we'll see. I'll probably have to stick to highlights for this one, but it's definitely probably the game of the week. I'll watch them anyway, but it'll be a very good game for anyone to watch if anyone is going to watch the game. Full house again for Derry to win. I suppose the final game then this week, lads. We'll go to Keeno obviously first. St. Pat's against Shells. Obviously, Keeno, Damien Duff is now, like I said last week, seems to get in the gears of motion for Shelbourne. He seems to be getting gelled, seems to be getting going. He stuck to his street back, he stuck to his principles. He just kept the Shells team going, and they're starting to go to teams and start to attack. They look a lot more confident. They look more sure on the ball. They're keeping it on the ground. They're getting a good few passes. It's not going to be an easy game.
No, it is going to be another good game. I just think with Shells, they always seem to do well in patches in most games, but it's almost like 2 steps forward and one back for Shells at this minute in time. You know, they're always going a little bit of a run. They always get a point, or they always beat a team that they probably shouldn't, like up in the Brandywell and stuff like that. And then they go on the back of a little bad run. So, you know, they'll be wanting to just keep that going for as long as possible. They're consolidating themselves like they will be in the league next year. I think I can kind of say that they will be in the league next year, and I'd be comfortably saying that. But, you know, it's going to be a good game. They seem to play better away from home for some reason. They kind of got the monkey off their back with the home win against Drogheda and the one against Sligo. So, you know, they'd be happy with that. But
First back-to-back ones as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's going to be good. They're going to fancy themselves. Pats are coming off the back of three decent results. I think they'd be disappointed if anyone watched the Sligo game. I think Pats would be the more disappointed out of both sides that they actually didn't go and win the game. Even though they went behind, to be honest, Sligo very rarely troubled Pats, believe it or not. So going in 1-0 for Sligo was kind of flattering for them, and you know, Pats were the better side. Pats had the better chances, but at the same time, Pats only got a draw. So, you know, it's a good draw. It's a good point in the showgrounds. And, you know, coming off the back of the Derry 4-0, which I got back to, you know, coming off the back of that, and then going and getting...
Possibly a wake-up call for his game.
Yeah, but then going and getting a good win in Drogheda, backing it up with a great draw against Derry, and another good draw against Sligo, all on the road, is decent. So, you know, Pats will be looking now to get 3 points. You're back at home. You have a chance now. You're playing Shells and you're playing Bohs on Monday night. And then obviously you have Dundalk. So it's another big week. It's another 3 games for Pats. For some reason, every game is huge for Pats at this minute in time. Look at this for every team. But, you know, these next 3 games, I think, are really going to say it all about Pats. In particular, the one against Bohs and the one against Dundalk. But, you know, there's no point if you don't beat Shells. So you have to go out and go and win it. There's going to be a big crowd on it. It's a game where I love playing Shells. Well, I love it when we get a positive result, you know what I mean? But Shells, for me, that's the derby I grew up with. And that's the derby that, you know, that's a proper derby for us. Like, you know, forget in recent years it's been Rovers and stuff like that, but Shells was always the one. So I always look for them fixtures. It's great to see. I think Damien Duff is suspended, so he'll be in the stands. But you know, I'm looking forward to the game. It's another game that, like I said, it's a shame people can't watch. You know what I mean? And well, obviously you can watch it, but a lot of people that actually listen and watch this show will be going to their own team's games on the Friday. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a shame because we've some really good stuff here and really good games. But you know, isn't it great to see so much attraction around the league? Isn't it? It's great to see many people talking about it. Like JP, I was up in Derry and. Like, now I know it helps when you're doing well and stuff like that. But when I was up there in recent years and you're going up to Derry, the amount of people going around with a Derry top on, and, you know, stuff like that, you never used to see that. So, you know, it's great to see the buzz around the place. Sligo was the same the other night. So I have to say it's good. The attraction's back. There's going to be big crowds all over the league. But I'm going to go for a Pats win here. I just think off the back of 3 positive results, you know what I mean? And you'd like to think you can go and make a four positive results. I think a win is needed, especially with Bohs coming up and especially with Dundalk coming up. So it's a massive week for Pats. But I'm gonna go for Pats win. I don't think it'll be pretty. I don't think it'll be high scoring, but I'll take a 1-0 here.
Yeah, definitely. I think either team would take a 1-0 or there. Like, you know, it's gonna be a hard game. I think it's gonna be a harder game for Shells than Pats. I think you know, Pats are at home. I think there is a better side, obviously. No disrespect to Shells. There's better players, more experience. That's, you know, obviously Shells are a completely new team to rough, but they've picked up a bit of form recent times, and it is a Dublin derby. It's going to be a good derby. Again, it's a pity you can't watch it. Maybe this could have been the one that could have put on TV this week. Who knows? But I'm actually going to go with Shelbourne win, just for the sake of Shelbourne to win. I hope to do. It'd be great. It's, for Keno, Shelbourne would win. But yeah, JP, how do you see this one? Obviously, the Dublin Derby is the ones both teams will be up for. It's Derby Day. You kind of leave your form behind. It goes out the window. It's on the day. It's whoever shows up. Kind of an attitude goes into a derby.
I think there's too. I think Derby Day. I think there's too many of them now. It's not like.
Well, when your whole league is in Dublin, every game's a derby.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think the league has probably. I think the league has probably lost the Dublin Derby. The north side, south side rivalry, all that type of stuff. I think we've lost that recently because of the amount of time for playing each other. But look, it's still a game you want to win. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, JP. How do you see this one?
I think Cian summed it up there in terms of Shelbourne. Is it? It's one step forward, 3 back, really, isn't it? With them, like they say, you get results against teams they shouldn't, and then they don't get results against teams that they should. But I think what they've done in the last 2 weeks is they 2 really good home performances, 2 really good results. It's opened up a bit of a gap between themselves and the bottom two. They're now sitting in a position where we fully all expected them to be come the end of the season. But what they will do is they'll potentially have one eye on looking up the table rather than looking down the table. And like they're only a point behind Bohs, they're 3 behind Sligo. I don't see them over the course of the season overtaking them 2 teams, but right here, right now, they do have the opportunity to get the win and put themselves into that sort of bracket. But fair play to Damien Duffy and his team. Like they've stuck to their principles, what they started. It's took a while for them. They create the chances that they probably would have wanted to, but they're starting to do that now. I know from the opening game of the season, I didn't see it, but from what I heard, the people that did watch it on TV says Shelbourne gave St. Pat's for some of it a good game, but obviously the quality told in the end up, and St. Pat's ran out 3-0 winners. But I can't see Shelbourne avenging that defeat in this game. I can see St. Pat's winning this game maybe 2-0, 2-1. But look, again, a Shelbourne, this will be a result where if they won it, it's a result where they're not expected they won it, and they've picked up a really good win. For Pats, they'll want to get back to winning ways after 2 draws, and as Cian touched on it, they probably really need to win it with Bohs and Dundalk on the horizon. So I think they will win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the Shelbourne fans this season have been great as well. They've come out in really big numbers. It's really good to see. It's a good light that they're back. But yeah, look, that's the games this week. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and please comment down below how you think your team's going to do and if you agree with our predictions or not. And yeah, let us know. Thanks very much. Thanks, lads.
Cheers, lads.